At this time, I would like to introduce someone that's near and dear to everyone in this room, good friend, Commissioner Jack Cagle. Jack has been a commissioner since 2011, and due to time constraints, I know he's got a lot to say, and so does Matt. I'm going to just turn it over to you.
I like that. That is one of the best introductions. Thank you. Let's get the technology working here. While we're trying to get the technology working, there you go. I'd like to begin, because this is the state of the county. And the county works well because of who the county has working for it. And so, let me first start with Judge Corduba. Would you stand again, Judge Corduba? We have justice in the land because we have some great judges, and Judge Corduba does a fabulous job that's over there in the county as a county precinct 4 employee JP. Now, Constable 4 is Mark Herman, and so now we have Zitzman, and who is that with you there? So y'all stand up for a minute. Mark Herman does us a fabulous job. They bust him, and she sentences him. And of course I said it's them because it wouldn't be any of us in this room that's here. And so we give our undying gratitude to Precinct 4's constables. And in fact, they're very responsive to us because one of the things, and we may have a chance to talk a little bit about it, but in our park system, they actually have a dedicated, specially trained group of folks in our park system that come through and patrol the some 30-odd miles of trails that we have on the county side so that our folks can be out there and enjoy themselves and be safe. So, and then, I would be a little bit remiss if I didn't go ahead and say, the county works well because of who the county has working for it, and then also working for it. Now, are you still in the judge's office? Where are you now?
Hi. I'm with John Manlove Marketing Communications, and then also with Lone Star College SEDC.
Okay. We used to have her, but we don't got her anymore. But she did good work for us while she was there. Thank you. But our county works well because and then our federal servants. I want to thank, of course, Congressman Crenshaw, and 2 Harris County employees are present here today that we took from your predecessor, Judge Poe's office. So Kim and Kennedy, where did Kennedy go? Y'all, go ahead and stand up. With 1.4 million people in beautiful Precinct 4, we can't do it all on our own. And so we are very dependent upon our folks to get out in the community and to try to service. I know that our good friend Drew over there used to serve the county, and now he's moved on to other zones, so he knows what it's like to be out there on the point of that spear, and so we thank you for that. Aaron is our partner on the local level, and Mr. Funderburg, the things that you do to work in our partnership is just beyond description. And so when we talk about the state of the county, you have to say the state of the county is doing good because of who's working for it and who it's partnering with. And so Brandon Creighton brought us some flood money home this last time, and so I want to thank you for his good work that he did in the legislature. The House has said Sonny died, which means it's over, they've died, and we are now safe again for another 2 years, unless there's a special session. There won't be a special session, will there? There might be because they forgot. Anybody ever need a plumber? They forgot to renew the plumbing licensing board. So we may end up not having plumbers in the state, and so there may be a very brief special section to fix that unless there's a way that they could do that. But barring that, we should be in pretty good shape and not have anything in the legislative session to come back for a little while. So let's talk about Harris County. One of the things about it is that it's growing, and it's still growing. Despite what happened with Harvey, despite what happened with Tax Day, despite what happened with the Memorial Day, despite what happened in what some folks are referring to as the Mother's Day flood, the tax day, the Memorial Day, the Mother's Day, these floods, we are still growing. And we're growing like a river. There's something about a river that, it gets bigger as it goes down the hill. And as we continue to go through time, we are continuing to grow. Now, water can be good, and water can be bad. My friend from Generation Park over here, Rick, he wanted to know if I was going to give you a quote from Shakespeare today, although Elizabeth Marshall Black might have wondered about that as well, or if I was going to quote from I think Jonathan Swift is who I quoted last time. But no, I'm going to go to a little bit more modern character than those two, and go to Samuel Coleridge, Taylor Coleridge, who basically told us a very short little line, which is water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Any of y'all had to do that in school? A few of you. And the mariner, he got into his troubles because he violated the sacred rule of sailors and he shot the albatross. And so the curse fell upon him, and he ended up, they became becalmed, and there was water everywhere, but they couldn't drink it. And many of you may have learned, the boards did shrink. Well, why did the boards shrink? The boards shrank because you always heard about swabbing the decks, what the sailors and the old wooden ships had to do. That swabbing of the decks wasn't just to keep it clean, but that was also to make sure that the boards stayed wet, because when they were wet, they would swell. It would make the ship watertight because the swelling of the boats. Now, if you don't have enough water, your sailors can't swab the decks. And if they can't swab the decks, then the boards start to dry out. And if the boards start to dry out, they start to crack, which the irony of it is that the dry boards cause the wet water to come in. And because the sailors weren't taking care of themselves, they weren't able to take care of swabbing the decks, couldn't drink the water, too tired, too hard to work, and therefore as the boards shrank, it made their lives to be in jeopardy of foundering the ship and sinking the ship. What's going on with us in the county? On a positive side, instead of dwelling with that negative bit, we need to make sure that our economic engine, and I noted with interest how y'all in your informal survey had roughly a third, a third, a third. A third about economic development, a third about flood control, and a third about mobility. You see, your mobility fuels your economic development. Your economic development requires additional mobility. And if you don't have the water and the employee, the person that's swabbing the boards, he's not going to be able to make sure that the boards don't shrink, which means if you don't have a robust economy, if you don't have good mobility that's working together, your boards are going to shrink and you'll make yourself vulnerable to your floods. But as long as our economy is robust and we fuel it, then we can protect ourselves from the water everywhere that we cannot drink. The water that is our threat is not necessarily seawater, but it is this water that comes from the rain. And the good news is that our economic ability is continuing to grow despite what's occurring. Our unemployment rates are improving along the way. Our small businesses are continuing to grow. About 98% of Texas business is what is defined as small businesses, but in all categories, our small businesses as well as our large businesses are continuing to grow. And our infrastructure, which are the projects that we work on. And notice the three little legs over there. You need your infrastructure to fuel your economy. Your economy requires growth. Growth requires that you have your infrastructure in place. Austin did an experiment a number of years ago, and their experiment was quite simply this. They tried to say, if we don't build the roads, then they won't come, and we won't need them. That didn't work out very well. And so one of the things that your local leadership is really trying to work hard on is to look into the future, to see where the growth is going to be, and to try to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve in terms of your mobility needs, and then learn how to take that $1 and to stretch it into 2 and the 3 and the 4 through our partnerships along the way. With Generation Park, we partnered with Precinct 1, we partnered with you guys there at Generation Park, and by working all together, we're going to have a better, more robust facility. And that particular park, actually, you guys, I think, crossed 3 precincts before you're done. You have 1, 2, and beautiful Precinct 4. Precinct 4 being the best, of course. And this whole Lake Houston area is one to where many of you will live in one, work in another, and have your mom and your dad or your family in the third in this particular area, because you are served by all of us in the county. And so we've got a lot of projects that are starting to occur in our area. The Lockwood project, we're expanding on Wilson Road, which is something that we've been working with Humble for quite a while, Humble. And we'll help there. Woodland Hills, we completed some stuff on Woodland Hills about a year or so ago. Hamlin Road, we're working on Hamlin Road. There's 2 parts to that. Who's my city rep person? There you are. Everybody smile at the city rep person. Precinct 4 has an experimental project. We tried to make it work on Hamlin. There was some community opposition, and so it died, but maybe the community will come back, and that is that Precinct 4, Harris County, we can build roads quickly. But our roads are like Ford F-150 pickup trucks. They're solid, they're strong, but they don't have all the bells and whistles. Now, when the city builds a road, it's like building a Volvo. I mean, it's so safe, and it has all the extra features in it, and it's also more expensive, and takes longer to build. The county, on average, when we're let go, we can start a project and finish a project in 27 to 36 months. 249, from beginning to end, was 27 months on phase 1 of 249. The county can build it quickly, but we build it with rubber mats and simple features that are safe and solid and strong, but not necessarily all the bells and whistles, and without as much of the administration, because we're lean and mean and know how to stretch a dollar. The city right now is between 7 to 9 years to get a road done. It takes them almost 2 years to get the planning phase done. So we're usually completing a project by the time that they're starting to actually break ground. And it's just the institutional things that are there. So we came up with this idea, well, what if the city loaned us a road, and they paid 80% of a project, we paid 20% of a project, and then gave it to the county, and then let the county build the road. Now, the problem with that is that when you're wanting a Volvo, sometimes you don't want a Ford F-150 pickup truck to be in that place. So not all roads would be good candidates for that kind of mobility. Hamlin Road would be one, because on Hamlin Road, part of it would be something, and Matt talks a little bit more about